Probably expect even more of him. By the way, the Jets have been cycling through kickers. Their fourth since training camp started is now this guy. Sam Ficken signed just last week. This past winter, he was working for a tech startup up in Boston called Play Easy. He now wants to play well as the Jets kicker. As the Jets won their toss, they defer. The Browns will receive. Taywan Taylor is back to do that as Baker Mayfield looks to bounce back after a rough week one through 3 interceptions in the fourth quarter in last week's loss. And here is Taylor from the end zone. And he is met shy of the 20. So Baker Mayfield not worried about the pressure, wants to silence the critics now.
On top, feel amazing. Wow, ain't nobody gonna knock me down.
Everybody's gonna throw us in the trash, and I think that's good. I know what type of men we have in this locker room. And quite frankly, I don't really give a damn what happens on the outside. I know how we're going to react. I know what we're going to do. How we're going to bounce back.
If he's going to silence the critics tonight, he's going to have to be very patient with the football and not turn it over the way he did in the second half against Tennessee.
And Nick Chubb will get the night started as Chubb is taken down by Jenkins. The Browns offense, well, they struggled up front on that offensive line. The left tackle Greg Robinson was ejected last week. The right tackle Chris Hubbard gave way often. They need to tighten things up there. They are without Rashard Higgins at receiver. He's dealing with an ankle injury. Of course, with OBJ and Jarvis Landry, they're just fine when it comes to having talent out on the outside. And then there's Nick Chubb flanking Baker Mayfield, who nearly went for 1,000 yards last year. And he'll get the work here on 2nd and 2, and he will move the chains going ahead for 4.
You know, Chubb is the guy that makes this offense go. You know, Coach called him the MVP. We can talk about Jarvis and Odell and Baker, but when they run the football, now they can dictate coverage, and they get one-on-one matchups on the outside. And I just love the way Nick Chubb plays.
Last year he went for 5.2 yards per rush. As Baker quickly gets it complete to Landry, up against a Jets defense that is without their key piece in the middle, and up front they're without their first-round pick Quinnen Williams, who is out injured with a bad ankle. But at middle linebacker, C.J. Mosley left last week's game, and boy did it make a difference. Well,
it's a huge difference, but they're going to be led by Jamal Adams, their do-it-all safety. He's going to remind you a lot of a Hall of Famer in Brian Dawkins. Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator, says he can manufacture pressure. We'll see if he can do that tonight.
Yes, Greg Williams, last year's interim head coach for the Cleveland Browns after they fired Hugh Jackson. That is incomplete as it went through the hands of Landry and then over the head of Odell Beckham Jr.
Baker Mayfield, he's the guy that makes the show go. Last week, I felt like he was pressing. It almost felt like in the offseason they started to believe the hype a little bit. He didn't take the check down. He was trying to force the 15 to 20-yard throw. He's got to be patient and get the ball to his playmakers. This will be a crucial third down early in the game just to see how Baker's patience is performing tonight.
As Ernest Johnson checks in on 3rd and 3 in the backfield, and now they'll go with an empty look as he motions to the bottom of your screen. 3rd down and 3 for Baker. Looking to extend the play, make something of it. Downfield and wide open all the way to the 35-yard line is Johnson. A 27-yard reception as a flag is down back near midfield.
While the quarterback still had the ball, holding. Defense number 34. That penalty is declined. 1st down Browns.
This is what Baker Mayfield can do. There's nothing there. He's being patient, but the improvisation, The movement in the pocket, Neville Hewitt, the middle linebacker, blew a coverage, and Baker Mayfield found the guy. He can do that. He can move around in the pocket and find guys down the field.
Back to business with Chubb, but this time he is ridden down by Blake Cashman. Told you the changes with the linebackers with the Jets as Cashman gets the start. The rookie drafted in the 5th round out of Minnesota. C.J. Mosley last week, he leaves that game with a groin injury. They had that 16-0 lead against the Bills, and all of a sudden Mosley's not in the middle of that defense, and here come the Bills with the comeback and the win.
Well, it was the communication. They talked about when Mosley went out, the lack of communication from the front end to the back end wasn't there. He's pivotal when it comes to that. Just now, defensive coordinator Greg Williams brought a little blitz. He's going to bring blitzes when they get across the 50-yard line.
Second and 12. Mayfield wants all of it. What an effort by OBJ. One-handed. Welcome back.
It's just one-on-one coverage out there. Wow. Just tremendous ball placement by Baker Mayfield. An unbelievable catch by OBJ.
And now 1st and goal, and wrapped up at the line that time was Chubb. Boy, I'll tell you, we were down there on the field when OBJ came out and get the reception from the New York crowd. And in pregame, he was all juiced up, pulling off and recreating some of the magic he had here.
If you think about it, Tess, he's been doing that since he was at LSU. They practiced this. At LSU, he and Jarvis practiced this every day, and they've continued this in the pros. It's nothing new to them. Maybe new to the fans, but it's nothing new to OBJ and Jarvis Landry.
9th play of a good-looking opening drive for the Browns. Second and goal on the slant, as that is incomplete. As Jarvis Landry was trying to get inside position against Brian Poole, but Poole was able to disrupt it. So that is the battle of the minds of guys that were on the same side a year ago. Greg Williams and Freddie Kitchens. Freddie, the first-year head coach of the Browns, was an assistant last year. Williams thought he was in good position to land the job, but they turned it over to Freddie Kitchens, who had a wonderful relationship that had developed with Baker Mayfield, and it really engendered a lot of confidence throughout the organization.
Well, that's how he got the job in large part, because of the development of Baker Mayfield and the success that he had. And you know, if you're Freddie Kitchens, and right now he's having a little disagreement with the ref, he and OBJ, you got to continue to develop your young quarterback. He has all the talent in the world, but you got to continue to develop him and also develop your team with discipline and the penalties that they had last week. You know, typically on defense, when you're down here, you play a lot of man-to-man. Freddie Kitchens knows defensive coordinator Greg Williams. They know each other. So let's see who wins the chess match, the first real big chess match of the night.
3rd and goal. Odell Beckham Jr. not in for this play. Instead, Taywan Taylor is. Here's Baker. Extending right, searching for an option to the end zone, and throws it out of bounds. So the Jets defense able to hold. Harvey Longy was tracking Baker Mayfield. Let's go to Lisa.
Yeah, Tess, there appears to be some kind of issue with Odell Beckham Jr.'s helmet. One of the equipment guys is over here on the sidelines now. Looks like he's unscrewing the face mask. Odell very upset over here that he's out of the game because of this. You saw him arguing with the referee. It seemed like he was saying something like, I've been wearing this all year, but obviously something the refs didn't like, making them make a change. Tess?
I can't be pleased with that. Austin Seibert now from 23 yards. We understand it was the shield on that face mask as Seibert hits his first NFL field goal, and the Browns started off 3-0 here at MetLife. ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Progressive Insurance, handing off big savings to you. And Burger King, it's game time with the Impossible Whopper delivered via DoorDash. Images of the very first Monday Night Football game, September 21st, 1970. The Browns beat the Jets 31-21. 50th season of Monday Night Football. NFL 100, a lot of anniversaries this year. The Browns had first and goal at the Jets 4. They settled for the Cyber field goal, as he will boom it into the New Jersey night. And from the 1, here's Trenton Cannon. Good coverage that time as he struggled to get to the 15. Remember, Sam Darnold out with mono, so Trevor Siemian, the quarterback for the Jets, and he's wearing the Monday Night Mike.
Let the games begin. What the hell? Lucky catch.
It's OBJ. Nothing lucky about it.
Yeah, I got news flash for you. That is not lucky.
Here's what I like about listening in on Siemian, though. He is calm and cool with this start, isn't he? Le'Veon Bell, as always, patient and then finding a seam for 5 yards. So Siemian, the former starting quarterback for the Broncos, his first start since week 15 of the 2017 season. Jamal Adams says, hey, don't sleep on him. He can get the job done. I'll tell you who didn't sleep well. Siemian himself, when he got the call. And he said, hey, Sam has mono. He's out. You're the starter. He said, I didn't sleep at all.
It's been a long time since he's had this moment, so I can understand not sleeping. But he'll be ready tonight. He's a veteran guy. He's played a lot of football.
His first pass of the night comes with pressure, and it comes with Myles Garrett getting the sack.
Number 95, Myles Garrett, a freak athlete, 6'5", 275 pounds. He comes down. They don't even block him. That's a free sack. That's a gimme. If I'm the Jets, if you're going to win the game tonight, I would put a hat or two on number 95. He's good enough to beat your guy. He's even better when you don't block him, Tess.
Yeah, he is an athletic freak, and he's on a mission this year. So he puts him in a hole of a 3rd and 12. Siemian pressured again, able to keep his balance this time. And then he has to throw it away, so they will be punting away. And the opening drive failures for the Jets continue. They have gone 26 straight games without an opening drive touchdown. That is the longest streak in the league.
And they're going to fail a lot more drives. They had 2 plays. The last play on 3rd down, they did not block Olivier Vernon. On the second play, they did not block Myles Garrett. If you're going to beat anyone, even the Browns tonight, you're going to have to block someone. That's bad coaching, missed assignments by the New York Jets.
So Lachlan Edwards planted a few yards into his end zone. And Jarvis Landry will field this booming turned over punt at the 33. And here goes Landry with a good return, just a couple yards short of midfield. 16-yard return from Landry. His best friend set to go again. OBJ back at MetLife when we return. My face this morning after I had the comfort food of sports television. Yes. Boomer and TJ back, folks. It is awesome. You sit back on ESPN Plus and you just consume 1 straight hour of NFL highlights now. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It is a fan's dream on ESPN Plus. So glad to have Boomer and TJ back in action with prime time. Chubb searching for something, finding a couple of yards on the right side. Lisa, what's the update with OBJ Shield?
Hey there, Tess. The issue was with the tint to it. It's supposed to be clear. Odell's had a little bit of a tint to it, so the officials pulled him off the field. The equipment guys had to switch it out. As you can imagine, Odell was very vocal over here on the sidelines because he was out of the game while all that was happening. His point was other guys have worn it. He thinks he's being picked on. Tess?
Now we had the watch last week. Now we got the shield this week. Second and 8. Mayfield again extending to the right and up and into the hands of Njoku as he took a hard fall. Cutting him down was Nate Hairston. So that'll leave him with a 3rd and 8.
Yeah, Hairston went under him there. Normally you don't like to see that. That ball's incomplete also. Njoku, that would have been a tough catch. Landed on his neck also, man.
Big 6'4", 246-pounder being upended, coming down hard. So now, Gangrene Nation here, ready to roar and support their defense on a 3rd and 8.
And 3rd down is the down that defensive coordinator Greg Williams says, I can manufacture pressure. We don't have a dominant one-on-one guy, so let's see if he can manufacture pressure here with a blitz from a safety or a linebacker.
So Williams anxiously getting in the call. D'Ernest Johnson back in. Remember, he had that big reception on the first drive.
Watch Jamal Adams. Baker sees Jamal Adams creeping, and he's still coming.
Sprint left on 3rd and 8. Mayfield. Flag is down. As being pushed out that time was Demetrius Harris, their other tight end. As it was Rontez Miles who had coverage on Harris. Alex Kemp is our referee for this game. 2nd-year ref.
I think one's going to be a late hit on number 33, Jamal Adams. He ran about 25 yards across the formation, and as Baker threw the ball, he put a nice lick on him. I think that's going to be one of them.
There is no foul for illegal contact. Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 33. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Yeah, Jamal starts on the right side of the formation. He's going to blitz, but he comes out of it and comes across. And that's just something you can't do. That's a selfish penalty. The Browns had a lot of those last week, and now the penalty bug has bitten the Jets. I understand you want to make a play. You ran 25 yards, but you got to pull up in today's NFL. They're going to protect the quarterback.
There's Chubb, and he is met and taken down as Cashman involved there, as was Basham.
Really impressed by this defense so far. No C.J. Mosley. Their big free agent signing came over. Man in the middle, at middle linebacker last week. He's out with a groin injury. So far, Neville Hewitt, Blake Cashman are stepping up inside. Browns haven't found any running room yet.
I remember Mosley last week had the pick 6, had the fumble recovery, defended a couple passes. He was all over the place. 2nd and 9 now. And once again, looking the way of Demetrius Harris, as that goes for 4 yards. So it'll be 3rd down from there.
You know, Tess, something I've noticed, starting cornerback number 22, Tremaine Johnson, hasn't been in a lot tonight. He didn't have a really good game last week. So I think the Jets went back and looked at the tape and said, you know what? I understand you're a $15 million corner,
right,
but if you're not going to put good football on tape, then you're not going to play. Greg Williams preaches you're going to practice and play the way we want you to. He didn't. Now he's on the bench.
And he paid up big for him last year. 2nd season with the Jets. 3rd and 5. See if this defense can come up with a stop here, or does Baker have the answer? Play clock down to 1. Good protection, and he overthrows the intended target, Beckham.
Yeah, it's a cross dog blitz inside. They take the Mike linebacker and the other inside linebacker. They cross him. The offensive line picks him up. And OBJ, it's man-to-man coverage. He told us this, I don't get much man-to-man. Well, guess what, OBJ? You got man-to-man there. Baker just couldn't find him.
So this will be Seibert from 48. He was at Oklahoma. He has the FBS record for most points scored in history. And he drives this through. So a couple of Seibert field goals, the way the Browns have themselves the lead early on. That's, hey Siri, who has the most rushing touchdowns in football? By the way, the answer is Dalvin Cook. He has 3 so far this year. Did you see his 75-yarder yesterday?
I love the cut when he got to the safety. How good does he look, by the way?
Oh, he looks great. Back from the injury. Team didn't look so hot in the loss to the Packers, but he looks great. Trenton Cannon will take a knee, and that means Le'Veon Bell will take to the field. Le'Veon Bell averages 128.4 scrimmage yards per game. Think about that. The highest in NFL history of any player with 60 games played. Look at the group. Look at the company here, both Jim Brown, Billy Sims, Barry Sanders, and there's Bell at 128.4.
He's still one of the best 3-down backs in our league. He can tote the mail on 1st and 2nd down. They can split him out at wide receiver. And now he's at quarterback in the Wildcat.
This is not unexpected with the news of Sam Darnold, as they go with the direct snap to Le'Veon Bell.
So here's what happens in the Wildcat, the reason teams go there. When you move the quarterback out, defenses don't account for the quarterback as a runner. So now the offense has an advantage with the quarterback running. That's how the Wildcat became popular. So I expected the Jets to do something like this tonight because they realize their offense is at a disadvantage.
Second and 6, play action. Simeon to the outside, was looking that time for Jamison Crowder, who had a big game last week. The Jets offense in the middle is Ryan Khalil, who had originally retired after last season, but they reached out to him, gauged his interest, and he signed in August. And then you know all about Le'Veon Bell. Jamison Crowder, who was the intended target there, you see, he signed over from Washington. 19 targets last week, had 14 catches for 99 yards. Third down and 6 for Simeon. Had a lot of time, but then an overthrow as he was looking for the newly acquired Demaryius Thomas, and he was covered by Denzel Ward.
Just good coverage on the back end. Denzel Ward, very good corner. Greg Williams, who's now the defensive coordinator for the Jets, when he was with the Browns, he chose Denzel Ward over Bradley Chubb because he said, you know what? I need a man-to-man cover corner here in Cleveland, and that's the reason why they chose Ward.
Here's Landry again on a punt return. Nice cut to get a few extra yards. As a flag is down back at the 41-yard line. 18-yard return from Landry.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 92. 10-yard penalty. Cleveland keeps the ball, first down. Timeout.
Baker Mayfield, a couple field goals so far, looking for some of those touchdowns, like that streak you see at the bottom of your screen. Jets defensive coordinator Greg Williams, one of the ultimate characters in the NFL. A year ago, he was coaching Baker Mayfield, was the interim head coach for the Browns. Now he's coaching against him, defensive coordinator for the Jets. There's been a lot of back and forth talk this week. Chubb takes it to the right side and finds a seam, and finally forced out that time by Hewitt. What's Williams doing against Baker, Book?
Well, it's pre and post snap. He said before the snap, I'm going to show Baker Mayfield one look. Post snap, I'm going to show him another. There, it looked like man, then it turned into zone. That's why Baker Mayfield had to hold the football and didn't know where to go. Again, Baker thinks it's one coverage. Pre-snap, post-snap, they show him another. He has to hold the football. There is no pre-made decision. That's going to be a big point of emphasis tonight. Show Baker one look pre-snap and show him another post-snap. And can the second-year quarterback decipher the difference?
Jarvis Landry motions into the backfield here on 2nd and 3. And then they set up a middle screen for Chubb. That was very well designed. And it goes for 6 yards and a first down.
Yeah, I just love the screen when you get the right side of the offensive line pulling out. To me, when you get offensive linemen in space and you get Chubb, and now Chubb has to do a really good job of finding his block, but that's a really good job by number 99, Steve McClendon. The hustle, the effort. Good play call, but even better effort play by number 99, Steve McClendon.
Well, that time, he was trying to come out of the break, Farrell Brown. The ball was already past him. Lisa.
Guys, Brown's tight end David Njoku is not on the field right now. He is back in the locker room being evaluated for possible concussion. We saw him take that hard fall, landed awkwardly on his neck. His return to the game is questionable. Again, back in the locker room being evaluated for a possible concussion.
All right, thank you very much, Lisa. And that's why we saw Farrell Brown and Demetrius Harris out on the field. There is Harris, 6 years with the Chiefs before signing this year with the Browns. Second down run from Chubb. As Chubb is brought down by Fatukasi.
You know, as we talk about all the players on the Cleveland Browns offense, Baker and Odell and Jarvis, the guy who I love is number 24, Nick Chubb. When he was at Georgia, he tore his LCL, his MCL, his PCL. The first game back from all those injuries, he had 32 carries. He is a workhorse guy. If you're looking for somebody to fall in love with, watch number 24. He plays the game the right way.
All right, now Dearness Johnson checks in on 3rd and 5. Receiver split 2 by 2 for Baker on 3rd and 5. And they go with a slant inside, and met right away is Odell Beckham Jr. And boy, oh boy, did Jamal Adams have a little something extra for him after Roberts and Cashman tied him up.
Well, anytime you throw that route really quick, you're thinking it's going to be man-to-man, but it was zone. 27 Roberts was in zone. Adams came in late. Again, Baker Mayfield thinks he's seeing one coverage. The New York Jets play another coverage. That was a man-to-man beater. They were in zone. Good stop by Greg Williams' defense.
And now Gillen, the rookie punter, on to punt away. Berrios with the fair catch. And the flag is down. And a little jawing going on as well between these two teams.
I mean, what would you expect, man? These two teams, it's competition. It's Monday night, Tess.
Yeah, not only that, but there were enough headlines to go around to put some fuel on the fire, weren't there? Most of it pointed at Greg Williams,
yep.
Jets defensive coordinator.
During the kick, holding, receiving team, number 99. 10-yard penalty, first down, timeout.
Browns 6-0 lead here. 2.5 to go in the first. Ace head coach and offensive play caller and his quarterback Trevor Siemian, who's in for Sam Darnold. He says, you know, Trevor I don't view as a backup. He's just a starter who happens to be on the same team as Sam Darnold. Right now he doesn't have a completion. That time Bell is ridden down by Murray.
But this is what they have to do. How do you manufacture offense when your starting quarterback is down? You got to run the football. You have a workhorse back in Le'Veon Bell. Trevor Siemian is a veteran guy. He's 24 starts. The moment's not going to be too big for him. Run the football, get the ball to Jamison Crowder, then maybe hit a big shot to Robbie Anderson, number 11.
Second and 8. Let's try to get something going. That is Demaryius Thomas. He's going to lose a yard there. Of course, that Browns defense, you know, up front, they are dangerous with Myles Garrett. Then Olivier Vernon on the other edge, who is, of course, a big part of things going on here in recent years with the Giants. Among the linebackers, Kirksey, the veteran team captain for a 3rd straight year. The rookie Mack Wilson from Alabama, very good-looking athlete. And then Greedy Williams, the rookie from LSU on the other side of Denzel Ward, who made the Pro Bowl last year as a rookie. 3rd and 9 for Trevor Siemian. He's 1 for 4 for -1 yard. Man in his face, and he just had to get it out as the flag is down, as he had no other choice but to get it to Le'Veon Bell quickly.
I think we're going to have 2 penalties on Myles Garrett. 1 for the offsides, 2 for a hit on the quarterback.
Let's bring in our officiating analyst, John Perry.
Bug, you're right. Roughing the passer. He's going to go full body weight. Judgment call by the referee. Supportable based on where the chest to chest match. I like the call.
There were 2 fouls by the defense, both by number 95. Offside is declined. Personal foul, roughing the passer. That'll be 15 yards from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Here's what I'll say. When I played, that was a good lick. In 2019, I guess you can't land your body weight on the quarterback anymore.
Listen, this was a topic yesterday, but more important than that when it comes to the Browns, just penalties in general after what happened last week, of having the technique and the discipline so that the flags don't come out. The most since 1951 last week for the Browns. 18 penalties in that loss to Tennessee, and they're showing pressure off the edge here.
Yeah, and Simeon sees it. He just checked.
Steps up into the pocket. A flag is down as he gets it complete to Robbie Anderson and crosses midfield. But a flag is down all the way back at the 22. For now, a 31-yard completion to Anderson.
Holding. Offense, number 68. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
You know, Boog, I want to get back to what you were discussing, and that is the new rule that came in last year of the body weight. And yesterday, this is how things were determined in this ending of Chicago and Denver. John Perry, what was your read here?
You know, that one I did not like as full body weight. You got half of the bodies on the ground. Knee absorbs some of that action along with the left arm.
Here's the question I would ask. What are we supposed to do? Levitate in midair when we start tackling the guy?
I agree.
Who, you David Copperfield all of a sudden, Booger?
I mean, what am I, the Matrix now?
Come on, man.
I thought it was a great defensive play yesterday.
So that was Bradley Chubb. It comes up with a great play, and it helps out the Bears get in position for what was a game-winning field goal in Denver. Now 1st and 20 as they look to set up the screen, and just getting free for a moment was Bell, and able to only get 1 yard back. That was Christian Kirksey who had him around the foot.
That's a great play by Kirksey. He's dropping back into zone coverage. The Jets have a pretty good screen set up, but that's just a great individual effort from number 58, Christian Kirksey.
Now final seconds of this first quarter. First quarter that Trevor Siemian passes for 3 yards in. Just a couple of field goals by Austin Seibert. 6-0 at the end of one here on Monday Night Football. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, recognizing those who strive to rise above the rest. Goodyear, more driven. Joe Tessitore, Booger McFarland, Lisa Salters with you here at MetLife Stadium. No chance at all right there for Trevor Siemian. Morgan Burnett first to get there.
Well, this is what you call an all-out blitz. Everybody's coming. Everyone you see is coming, and Trevor Siemian has 0 chance whatsoever. Schobert is hugging up on number 26, Le'Veon Bell. They don't have enough guys to block. Morgan Burnett gets in there and gets the sack. At some point, that shows you Trevor Siemian hadn't played a lot of football, hadn't played in a while. You got to recognize that, audible out of it, or get rid of the football quickly.
3rd and 29.
Should be a screen or draw here. Play it safe, punt the football.
Flag comes in from the back.
Delay of game. Offense. Half the distance to the goal line. 3rd down.
And Siemian was not looking up at that clock. I'll put him in an even deeper hole.
You know, I know Trevor has 24 starts, but
Right.
he hadn't played since 2017. So they're having communication issues, difficulty getting the protection set. And right now, it's 3rd and a mile. You hand the ball to Le'Veon Bell. You throw a quick screen. You live to see another day. You punt the football.
Last time he started was at the end of his 2 years as a starter for Denver, as that's what they do there. Schobert gets the tackle after 4 yards from Bell. Last year, Siemian was a clipboard holder up in Minnesota. Kirk Cousins took every single snap of the regular season.
And some of that's showing right now, the rust. He's not panicking so much, but the rust of recognizing protections, the communications with the offensive line. They've had several guys unblocked tonight. That's just communication between play caller, quarterback, and the offensive line.
Well, that's dangerous for the Jets special teams unit to see Jarvis Landry sitting there at the 37, knowing that Edwards needs to really turn this one over and drive it deep. Here's Landry now. He just stumbled and he knows it. Thought he could catch a seam. Look at how frustrated it is on the 8-yard return. Listen into the mic with Trevor Siemian.
Ready? And
Got to help our defense out a bit. No doubt.
Well, Trevor Siemian. Browns have blitzed Siemian 3 times tonight. 2 sacks and an incompletion.
Well, and Adam Gase went max protection in that last one. That means he's keeping the maximum amount of people in to block, and he still got sacked.
Or David Njoku is out after he took a flip, and he's being evaluated for a concussion. So you see big Demetrius Harris playing tight end here. Mayfield, plenty of time, downfield, open, and able to get it complete to OBJ.
It's just a big-time NFL throw. It's 2 deep zone. Baker Mayfield fits it in front of Jamal Adams, the safety. The cornerback is underneath. OBJ goes up and gets it. That's the timing and the rhythm that this offense must play in. That's a big-time throw by Baker Mayfield.
So 21 yards for Odell Beckham Jr. He has 3 catches for 54 tonight. Able to hold on to the ball, but taken down. As it was Basham with the first sack of the night for the Jets.
I just love the effort coming around the corner here. The speed, the bend, number 90. I just love against Greg Robinson there. The effort play. Greg Robinson tried to push him around, but he dipped his inside shoulder, and Baker Mayfield held the ball a little bit too long and caused a sack. Good pressure, though, in the one-on-one rush by the Jets.
So backs him up to a 2nd and 20. Nick Chubb is split to the top of your screen. Empty look for Mayfield. And an in-cutting route, they're able to get it to Chubb. 13 yards of it back there.
You can't get it all in one play. That's what Baker has to understand. He forced the football last week against Tennessee. I like what I'm seeing so far. He's being patient, taking the underneath throws. Now you have a 3rd and manageable against this Greg Williams defense. I think Greg is going to bring pressure here. Once you cross the 50, he likes to bring it.
He always likes
to bring it.
There they come. 3rd down and 7. They pick up the pressure up the middle. Baker goes short underneath, and Johnson is taken down by Basham. So it'll be 3 yards short of the line to make.
I think Freddie's thinking about going for it on this 4th down right here.
He's looking at that play sheet, and Baker Mayfield staying on the field.
Well, here's what he's saying. Think about this. It's 6-0. You have an offense that's been really struggling throughout this season so far. On the road, you're trying to get your team going. You're trying to build some confidence. I like this play. It's 4th and short. Probably going to be man-to-man coverage. Look for some type of pick or rub route.
4th and 2. Mayfield on 4th down. Flag comes in as it was Hairston charging in on Taylor.
While the quarterback had the ball, holding. Defense, number 21. 5-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
We talked about it being a pick route. Let's take a look at number 13, OBJ. He's going to come across the formation. When he comes across, they're trying to run a pick. He wants to hit OBJ right now in the flat. He doesn't like it, so the play continues to go, and Baker goes to his secondary read. Anytime it's in short yardage or goal line, you're going to get man-to-man. That was a good call by Freddie Kitchens. Better play by the corner, holding there on Baker's 2nd read.
Here's Chubb going to test that left side, right inside it into the end zone. Nick Chubb. 19-yard touchdown run for Chubb.
We've been talking about this Browns offensive line, the much maligned. The center right there, number 64, J.C. Tretter. This is zone blocking. Watch him get the seal, and there's a seal. A seal here, and a seal here, and the alley is down for Nick Chubb. Good inside zone blocking by number 64, J.C. Tretter.
And a nice job with the seal with Petonio and Cush even finding work downfield as well. Nick Chubb reading those blocks well and then driving downfield for the score. And humble Nick Chubb just gave the Browns a 13-0 lead with a touchdown run. Last year, 192 times he ran the ball for a 5.2 yards per rush as a rookie. That put him in some Hall of Fame company. And then look at this. Leroy Kelly, Jim Brown, the only players in Browns history to hit those marks. Of course, Jim Brown did it 4 times.
Oh, you got to love Nick Chubb. You know, I was talking to head coach at Georgia, former head coach Mark Richt, and he says all he does is show up and work hard. He doesn't say anything, just does his job. Love to coach guys like that.
You know, you brought it up earlier. He overcame that serious knee injury. He comes back 11 months later and went for 222 yards in his first game back. Well, in honor of its 100th season, the NFL is encouraging fans to join players, teams, and the NFL family in a year-long volunteer initiative called Huddle for 100. You can choose a cause, you volunteer 100 minutes of your time, and you really help shape your community for what you want it to look like. You can visit NFL.com/huddle4100, track your minutes, and get rewarded. And give credit for the Jets. They hosted the annual New Jersey Walk With Us to Cure Lupus back here at MetLife Stadium in May. We encourage everybody to do that. 100th season of the NFL, 50th season of Monday Night Football. Trevor Siemian. And coming back for it was Robbie Anderson as yet another flag is down. Greedy Williams had the coverage there on Anderson.
Offside. Defense, number 22. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, there is Chris Smith, grief-stricken following the tragic death of his girlfriend. Lisa gave us all the details of the horrible story of the highway accident last week, and the team rallying behind him with support. He decided that he wanted to play tonight. First and 5 after the penalty. Le'Veon Bell with a good run. The Jets had 1 yard of offense prior to that 8-yard run by Le'Veon Bell.
Well, that's what they have to do, run the football. Le'Veon Bell likes the zone blocking where he can pick and choose and find his hole. We all know about him being a patient runner, but he's a physical runner. The offense is struggling. How do you settle it down? Give the ball to your expensive running back and see if he can get you some yards.
Going to go back to Bell, and I think the Browns knew all about that as Sheldon Richardson set up a wall in front. Adam Gase is trying to find the answer here with Trevor Siemian at quarterback. Simeon's 3 of 6 for 3 yards in place of Sam Darnold, who was diagnosed with mononucleosis last week, quarantined back at home watching this game.
Le'Veon Bell is at quarterback again, little wildcat.
And Ty Montgomery, though, is flanking him this time, and Montgomery gets the carry, and he doesn't get a yard. He's tied up at the line of scrimmage with Kirksey and Richardson.
Just a simple zone read. Watch Le'Veon Bell. Ty Montgomery is going to be a zone read. He's going to try to read the mesh point right there. He's reading this defensive end. If the defensive end closes, he's supposed to pull it. Defensive end kind of gave the shuffle technique, so Le'Veon Bell gave it to him, playing a little quarterback there. A little zone read by number 26.
16th time in his career he has taken a direct snap as a Wildcat quarterback. And we could see many more tonight based on the way this offense is going. They need to find a spark. Looks like there was some movement.
False start. Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty. It remains third down.
Yeah, this is what you see when you have a quarterback. I get it. He was with you through OTAs, training camp, et cetera, et cetera. But these are the first live reps in the real game. And so you're seeing communication issues, snap count issues, the penalties, guys going unblocked. They got to get this fixed in New York.
He's running scout when Sam Darnold was out there getting the first team reps. So this is the third time now already that the Jets are facing a 3rd and 10 plus. It's a 3rd and 16 for Siemian.
Browns are showing pressure again up the middle. Now they back out.
3rd and 16. Siemian looking for anything, gonna launch it downfield. Can he hit the jackpot with that? No, incomplete. He's looking for Ryan Griffin, the tight end, and a flag is down again. That's all the way back at the 16-yard line. As he got drilled, now he's grabbing his left leg. And this looks like a very serious injury.
Defense number 95, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, yes.
Oh boy. We're going to take a break. Trevor Siemian actually was able to walk off the field, which, based on what we just saw go in the break, is stunning to everybody here at MetLife. And right now, Luke Falk, in his 2nd season out of Washington State, is the quarterback for the Jets after the penalty. And Le'Veon Bell takes it past midfield. So Luke Falk, who originally was a 6th-round pick by the Titans, is on to his 3rd team in the NFL. He also was with Miami, then came over here to the Jets. Of course, he had a great career at Washington State for Coach Mike Leach. His last competitive pass came on November 25th, 2017 in the Apple Cup rivalry game against Washington. And now here he is on Monday Night Football against the Browns, trailing by 13. And straight up ahead for a first down is Le'Veon Bell. And all of a sudden the Jets are finding something, of course.
Well, they got a little energy. And, you know, Coach Gates told us about Luke Falk that he knows the offense better than anyone. Better than Sam Darnold, better than Trevor Siemian. I love what he's doing as Trevor Siemian is headed toward the locker room.
And you can see the pronounced limp as he does. So Falk, of course, you mentioned that Gase feels that he has familiarity with the offense. He was with the Dolphins last year. Alan Gase was the head coach of the Dolphins. He landed on the injured reserve list there. It's a kid that was originally a walk-on for Mike Leach, and he ends up becoming a Pac-12 record holder. And now Bell bounces it to the outside and gives a spin move as he makes his way just inside the 35, 7 yards there.
Yeah, Le'Veon Bell is so patient. Number 53, Joe Sherbert, missed a tackle. But just look at his patience, the elusiveness. That's a 220-pound running back. Getting the ball on the inside zone. 53 has him dead to right. And then the lateral quickness of Le'Veon Bell. He used to be 250 at Michigan State. He said, you know what? I didn't feel quite quick enough, so he lost 25 pounds, and now he's playing at about 225.
2nd and 3. Short pitch to the outside for Bell. And Bell has another first down for the Jets. That was Shell and Khalil getting out in front blocking for Le'Veon Bell.
What do we talk about? You have to do what you do best. Run the football. 72 Shell, 55 Khalil out front. And now you give bodies in front of Le'Veon, and then you allow him to use his vision to find a hole.
So Siemian goes down with an apparent leg injury, limps off the field. Falk comes in, starts handing off to Bell, and now the Jets are on the go. And this time unable to get any yardage was Schobert with the tackle. Lisa.
Guys, I talked to Luke Falk pregame, said to him, hey, you know, you're just a play away from possibly getting in the game. And he said, if I do, I'm ready. I got to execute, do my job. He said, my family is back home watching. I feel confident. My strength is my accuracy. He's a 2nd-year player. He said this is the first time he's ever been active for a game. Tess.
Incredible. And it comes in this spot. 2nd and 10.
The energy just feels different now that he's in.
5 straight runs for Le'Veon Bell, and now this pass And he goes back to Bell, but Bell is met right away, and that was Christian Kirksey with a loss of 1.
Yeah, I love Kirksey, one of the better linebackers in the AFC. Physical guy.
Holding. Offense number 68. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
Tag Kelvin Beachum, the left tackle.
Well, this is a situation that you don't want, obviously. It's second and long. You got your third quarterback, and you're trying to get your offense moving. If I'm Adam Gase now, I'm looking for short, quick throws. I don't want Luke Falk holding the football. I want the ball out of his hands very quickly. If you're Cleveland, it's time to heat Luke Falk up.
Gets it out quickly. That was the way to do it, but the Browns were right on top of it. That was good play by Denzel Ward and Morgan Burnett to get on top of Bell.
Cleveland showed 2 linebackers in the A-gap. Luke Falk and Adam Gase thought they had a blitz. He threw the quick screen outside. Linebackers backed out. Good play call. They got fooled by the coverage there.
So Sam Darnold out with mono. Trevor Siemian injured moments ago and left the game. And here's a 3rd and 19 for Luke Falk. Ty Montgomery takes the handoff, finds a little bit of space inside the 30. And then Greedy Williams brought him down. So you know what's been happening with the Jets kicking situation. They've gone through now onto their 4th kicker since the start of training camp. And here's the new guy, Sam Ficken from Penn State, who actually played for the Rams in recent years when Greg Zuerlein was injured. And Ficken looked really good in warm-ups. This will be a 46-yard attempt. Can he solve the Jets' kicking problems? And listen to the roar. They finally got what they want for Gang Green, a kicker who can make one. His name is Sam Ficken. New Jets kicker Sam Ficken just made a 46-yarder. Brent Boyer, the special teams coordinator, liked it. And remember when we asked head coach Adam Gase, where did he find Ficken, Boog?
He said, I don't know. I haven't talked to the guy.
He said, I'm bad luck for kickers. I'm not talking to him. He's going to be talking to him now. He looks pretty good.
Between the Jets and the Bears, I'm not sure who's had worse luck with kickers.
Yeah, but then Pinheiro came up big yesterday for Chicago.
Yeah, he did.
The Jets kickers, I mean, this has been going on now since the offseason. Remember, they had Jason Myers, who was a Pro Bowler, and everybody was showering him with roses. He was great, but they let him walk in free agency to Seattle. So then Chandler Catanzaro, he retired in the preseason after a game. Bertolet was released before week 1, and then Kari Vedvik last week. I mean, Vedvik, there's going to be nightmares around here over Vedvik for a long time. And now here's Sam Ficken, who had a strong camp with the Packers and then was released. He was pretty solid with the Rams at times. In fact, had a playoff game a couple years ago where he hit a couple of field goals. And now here he is off to a good start with the Jets. A lot of people in the stadium saying, finally, keep it up. Chubb is taken down by Hairston, and that's a loss of 2.
That's a really good play by Hairston there. You know, defensive coordinator Greg Williams talked about playing 2 safeties deep. I said, Greg, how do you do that when it comes to the run game? He says, I want my corners to be a part of the run game. So we're going to see a lot of the Jets cornerbacks making tackles, just like Hairston did there. Baker likes the empty formation. When you spread it out, he can see everything a lot clearer.
2nd and 12. They only bring 3 against him here. Batted up in the air and falls harmlessly to the turf as Neville Hewitt was hoping he would have a shot at it.
Baker Mayfield is getting confused. The defensive end is going to drop back. They're bringing pressure, or simulated pressure from that side. Baker thinks it's one coverage, and again, it's a totally different coverage. Baker Mayfield has to start to get a clear look at the defense. If he does that, he has guys open.
And that was Hewitt, who was able to get his hand up and then thought he could track it down, but it came up short. Play clock running down here on 3rd and 12. Mayfield drives the ball on an in-cut to Damian Ratley for a first down.
That's just a big-time throw and catch right there. Baker Mayfield planted his back foot and just drilled it in there.
21 yards on 3rd and 12 as we hit the 2-minute warning here at MetLife Stadium.
We ain't having that, 'cause my team be.
Our crew will go anywhere to find that Monday Night Football theme. They went to Grand Central. Gabriel Aldor, who you'll see him play at Grand Central or Penn Station, or if you take the Staten Island Ferry. Nicely done there. Under 2 minutes here. Baker got a little juice to him. And incomplete, as he was left with the option of Dearness Johnson that time. And coverage came from Brian Poole.
You know, Baker's done that several times tonight where he scrambled out of the pocket. He's patting the football. He's not seeing the coverage well. He's not seeing what the defense is giving him in a 2-minute drill. Hopefully the tempo will allow him to get in a better rhythm.
So Mayfield with 137 tonight. Cleveland has 168 total yards to the Jets 43. And the Jets are down to the guy who was their number 3 quarterback just about 6 days ago. 2nd and 10. Batted again and falls incomplete. And that was Blake Cashman coming in against Baker Mayfield.
I love what Greg Williams is doing. He's starting to heat him up. He brought number 46, Neville Hewitt, number 33, Jamal Adams coming inside. Blake Cashman jumps up. They're getting bodies in Baker Mayfield's face. He's only 6 foot tall. That's okay, but he's having to throw over people. He's got to slide to the side and throw around them.
I'll tell you, Blake Cashman's been very active tonight. The rookie out of Minnesota, drafted in the 5th round. He's been a pleasant surprise for them.
This should be Odell Beckham Jr. time. If they're going to heat you up and play man-to-man coverage on the outside, you got to get the ball to 13.
We'll use a timeout with 1:49 remaining. Coming up, the Genesis halftime show with Susie, Steve Young, Louis Riddick. Adam Schefter has a lot to discuss with Roethlisberger and Breeze, and some news bubbling up with Jalen Ramsey. Peyton's Places, which has been hysterical on ESPN+. Joe Namath is this week's episode. Can't wait for that. Namath did a great job in our Tees Open today. And Tiny and Onwell will be the special musical performance. Boy, what a seismic shift with some of the news in the NFL today, huh? When you talk about Breeze and Roethlisberger and what's bubbling up down in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I think the Saints will be fine. Teddy Bridgewater has proven he can play. The Steelers, Mason Rudolph has got to get up to speed and get ready to go. And Jalen Ramsey, he's got to figure out whether he wants to be in Jacksonville or not.
Well, we'll hear what Shefty has to say at the half with Susie and the guys. That's coming up, but right now business to be done with Baker Mayfield facing a 3rd and 10. As they go with Johnson, and Johnson tried to cut back to the inside. Jamal Adams came up to play it and was able to get him down at midfield. But Jamal Adams, you know what he's all about.
Love Jamal Adams, really good player. Reminds me a lot of Brian Dawkins. He's a safety that's going to be at or near the line of scrimmage. He's a physical guy, a juice guy, an energy guy, much like Dawkins. One of the better young players in the National Football League.
Offense is staying on the field at midfield on 4th and 4.
I don't think they're going to snap it.
Hit zeros, seeing if they could get them to jump.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Well, if you think about it, it didn't make sense. You have a team on the other side, and the Jets are on their 3rd quarterback. You don't want to risk giving them the ball at midfield with an opportunity to get more points. It's 13-3. punt the football, make them go the length of the field with their third-string quarterback.
Look at the hair on the Scottish Hammer, the rookie punter, Jamie Gillan.
You've been waiting to say that all night.
I mean, look at this guy. Grew up playing rugby and soccer near Inverness in the Scottish Highlands. Then he moved to Maryland when he was a teenager, played a little high school football, and found out where Arkansas Pine Bluff is. And now here he is, a booming rookie punter, as Berrios has the fair catch inside the 10. USAA and the NFL pay tribute to our armed forces through our salute to service. Like the Browns special teams coordinator Mike Pfeiffer was a naval officer from 1990 to 94, flying helicopters in the Persian Gulf and Somalia, specializing in anti-sub warfare and search and rescue missions. And we salute Mike for his service.
You got 57 seconds left, second quarter, it's 13-3. You got your third-string quarterback in. How risky does Adam Gase want to get? If I'm him, I hand the ball to Le'Veon Bell. Let's go to halftime and regroup.
Well, listen, they got 4 completions in this first half. All of those completions are behind the line of scrimmage. So that tells you all you need to know about the situation with the Jets offense tonight, as they have Luke Falk in at quarterback. Luke Falk, who played at Washington State, comes in as Simeon left with an apparent leg injury.
And if they're going to do that, Cleveland's going to use their timeouts to try to get the ball back, make them punt it, put Jarvis or Odell back there, see if you can get a big return.
You know, Mike Tannenbaum, who was here with New York and then was an executive personnel guy with Miami recently, he reached out to us just moments ago. He said, listen, Luke Falk, here's the deal. We had him in Miami. Smart, tough, limited arm strength. He says, but a good game manager, struggles to get the ball outside the numbers, but they like the way he can lead his teammates. Says the teammates will rally around him. I think we got just a little glimpse of how the running game did that when he first came in, the way they were running the ball.
Well, the energy picked up because they understand that Luke Falk knows the offense.
Cleveland still has 1 timeout left, and Falk gets, oh, it should have been a completion to Josh Bellamy. He put it right on the hands in stride.
Yeah, that's what you can't do. That's what you can't do. When you're on your third-string quarterback, he makes a really good throw, puts it right on your hands, and Bellamy's got to get 2 hands on that ball. It's not the time to make one-handed catches. Get 2 hands on it, run through the ball.
Yeah, run through it. Don't leave your feet.
Don't reach for it. As a receiver, you have to run through the football. He didn't do that.
Now remember, that incompletion helps the Browns as they have 1 timeout remaining. And a 3rd and 8 here for the Jets, so the Browns don't have to use a timeout. Play clock running down.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Well, this is what I'm speaking of. You're backed up in your own end. You played a decent first half. It's a 2-score game, 13-10. I'm not sure what they're trying right now. I'd hand this football off, punt the ball, 13-3, excuse me. Punt the football and allow your defense to play.
Of course, they go with the delay as Bell is taken down about a yard behind the line of scrimmage. 8 penalties on the Jets here in this first half. Let's go to Lisa.
Guys, as you know, the Jets down to their 3rd-string quarterback. Let's talk about the first 2. Sam Darnold out indefinitely with mononucleosis. I called my kid's pediatrician today because I didn't know that older people could get that. He told me it's a very common virus. When children get it, he said it can be fairly mild, like a cold, but when it occurs when you're older, it can be more serious. Symptoms are usually fever, really bad sore throat, fatigue. You just feel miserable. It's treatable. It'll eventually go away, but the issue for people who play contact sports, your spleen could be enlarged for weeks when you have it, and a hit could lacerate your spleen. You could die. So though Sam Darnold could already be feeling better, the doctor I talked to said he's probably going to be out at least a month.
And that is the danger. High intensity in contact with the enlarged spleen. And a call scatter here as this punt takes a bounce back before Miles is able to secure it. Only a 34-yard punt. So that leaves 35 seconds of work left for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, 35 seconds, no timeouts. Okay, so if you're the Jets, you don't want to give up the big play. Keep the ball in front of you. They only need a couple of plays. I'd rather give up a field goal here than a touchdown. If you're Baker, you're going to want to hit out-breaking routes, try to conserve some time, especially late in the game clock. Right now, with 35 seconds left, he can work the entire field.
Well, we saw what about 35, 37 seconds did in New Orleans last week.
Set up a game winner.
Here's Mayfield, well protected, going to the end zone and batted away by Marcus May. And down in the end zone is OBJ still, and now he's slow to get up and walking back.
OBJ tries to do a double move, but it's in the cover too. It's zone coverage. Understand, Baker's got to understand what he's seeing. He's got two guys back deep, and OBJ is going to try to go out and up. It doesn't work, not against zone coverage. Those guys are going to get back deep, and they just bracket OBJ. It looks like double coverage, but it's simply zone coverage with a double move. It's no good.
OBJ ran straight to the training staff. So that leaves 28 seconds.
A bit of a force by Baker. You got to check the ball down, go underneath here.
Well, you know the way he likes it now, Bo. This time coming out of the backfield, coming up short as there was a little bit of pressure coming in to Johnson. A flag is down, so we'll check on that. This is the end of the play with Odell Beckham Jr. Tried to get up, went right down, and then ran off to the bench.
Holding. Offense, number 78. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
You know, now if you're Cleveland with 25 seconds left, you need a chunk play. You need something 10 or 15 yards to try to get yourself in field goal range. And Baker's got to be patient. He had the running back open on the previous play in the flat. He just short armed.
Here he gets to the outside looking for Jarvis Landry. It goes incomplete. So it'll be 3rd and 20 with 20 seconds left before we get to Susie, Steve, Lewis, and all the news from Shefty. And Odell is running off to the locker room. Got that nice clear shield now on the face mask.
That rule's been around since I played. That was 15 years ago, Tess. You can't wear the dark shield. Odell should know better.
Book. They took him off the field for 3rd down to the officials. They had to swap it out. Here's 3rd and 20 without OBJ on the field for Cleveland. Baker against a 4-man rush. And he gets it complete. Hard hit at the end there. They're going to try to clock it as Jarvis Landry was able to corral it. And a good job by Baker and the guys getting up there and clocking it with 5 seconds remaining. 26 yards on what was 3rd and 20 to Landry.
It's too deep zone. Okay, the middle of the field is going to be wide open. Baker Mayfield understands it. Jarvis Landry goes and just runs down the seam. That's the opening right there in cover 2. That opening is going to be there. Baker Mayfield does a good job of finding Jarvis Landry, and he does a good job of sitting down in zone coverage.
So Austin Cyber, who made from 23, made from 48. Now we'll try to close out this first half with a 43-yarder. And he does. That was very well managed by Baker Mayfield and the Browns offense. 16-3 as we get you set for the Genesis halftime show starting right now. Joe Booger and Lisa with you here at MetLife, where it is 16-3 Browns. Just a Nick Chubb 19-yard rushing touchdown, our only touchdown of that first half that saw the Jets get down to the third string quarterback. As you know, Sam Darnold's out with mono. Trevor Siemian leaves with the injury. Luke Falk is in. They're 0 for 6 on third downs. They have 4 pass completions. The longest is for 3 yards. Meanwhile, on the other side, we've got Baker Mayfield, our Burger King king of the moment.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield has been playing well. I like what he's doing, reading coverage so far and reading where to throw the football. And he can make all the throws. Here he drops back and makes an absolutely dime of a throw to OBJ down the corner, another amazing catch. And then here, zone coverage. He reads it, throws it in front of the safety, in front of the, over the underneath defender, does a really, really good job. I like how patient he's being tonight. Hasn't made every throw, but more patience, not forcing the football down the field.
162 yards for Mayfield. Chubb 41 yards rushing. Total yards are 199 Cleveland to 45 for New York. That guy, Austin Seibert, who is the young rookie kicker, was able to get on the board in the first quarter, couple of field goals, and then bookended it with a 43-yarder with a well-managed 15-yard advancement of the ball from Mayfield. They got into a little bit of hole, then he goes and hits Landry and puts him in position to strike before halftime.
And hopefully at halftime, Adam Gase went in and talked to Luke Falk and found out what Luke does well. Come out, run the football with Le'Veon Bell, and find the passes that Luke Falk likes.
There's Trenton Cannon on the return for the Jets. And a flag rains in from all the way behind the return man. Well, let's get an update on the Jets quarterback situation with Lisa.
I just talked to Adam Gase. He told me there's been no update on Trevor Siemian. He told me that he has not been told anything else on Siemian's status just yet. So then I asked him how he makes things easier for Luke Falk, and he says, I think Luke has been fine. He said, we've got to do a much better job with our offensive line. They're penetrating. We're not covering anything up. We've got to do a better job against the run. I asked him, who's next on the depth chart? Who is your emergency quarterback? He said, number 26. But hasn't he already done enough?
Le'Veon Bell, who's taken direct snaps. So they're going to be walking back here with the penalty. And they will set up shop with the nose of the ball on the 12-yard line. That's a good question. Who would be the next guy in? Bilal Powell in recent years has played that role. He's not active on the Jets roster here. And taken down by Myles Garrett again. He has found himself to the backfield often.
I just like Myles Garrett. He's a power rusher. He just bull rushes, beats him back, and gets the quarterback sack. You know, he talked about being Defensive Player of the Year. He openly said it. And I asked him, how do you do it? He said he's got to get better with his technique and fundamentals, but he is one of the most explosive athletes that you'll ever see. 6'5", 265 pounds, body so good. He was in the ESPN The Body issue.
Oh, yeah, I mean, this guy is just chiseled. Bell trying to give him some breathing room, but he was met by Jermaine Whitehead and Joe Schober.
You know, in the first half, Myles Garrett, he was making plays for the wrong reasons. Here, personal foul, landing his body weight. And then I get it, when you run that far, again, lands on Trevor Siemian. He wants to be Defensive Player of the Year, and he's very capable of doing that, but he's got to be more consistent. 3 personal fouls so far in a game and a half. They cannot have that out of their young star.
3rd and 17, and Jets quarterbacks tonight are 0 for 3 throwing the ball past the line of scrimmage. And this one is not past the line of scrimmage again to Le'Veon Bell, who gets it out back towards the 12-yard line, where he's met by Kirksey and Ward.
I mean, Falk's doing the best he can. When you get behind in the down and distance that far, the defense is going to drop back and play a really soft zone, and the only thing that's going to be open is the check down. He read the defense, threw it to Le'Veon Bell. Now they have to punt the football.
And once again, Jarvis Landry could put the Browns in great field position here. And see what Lachlan Edwards offers up off that big right foot of his. There's Landry. As he hesitates for a moment, a stiff arm out to the 45-yard line. A 49-yard punt, 6-yard return. And Baker will have his first outing of the second half when we return to Monday Night Football. Next week on Monday Night Football, we've got the Bears and the Skins, Trubisky and Keenum. Of course, Trubisky came up clutch yesterday in Denver with that completion and set up Eddie Pinero's game-winning field goal. You heard it, Chicago fans. The 53-yarder in that thin air, that mile high. Chicago with a win.
This is a moment for the Browns to show patience. Run the football, establish that, and then take your shots down the field.
Mayfield, play action on first down as Williams chases and he throws it away.
Just when you think they're going to run the football, they come out in a heavy formation, play action, trying to hit a big play. They're going to have to learn to be patient. Freddie Kitchens, the play caller. Baker Mayfield, Odell, Jarvis. You can't always hit the home run play. First play out of the half, run the football, establish your MVP, which is Nick Chubb.
Mayfield has hit on only one of his last 7. Second down run for Chubb. He had to jump over Landry, keep his balance, and tiptoe the sideline as he makes it to the 47. 8-yard run from Nick Chubb.
All 8-yard runs are not created equal. This is all Nick Chubb. Just look at it. The bounce outside, the lateral quickness. He just runs hard. I love the physicality, the elusiveness that he exudes.
Take a quick break as Ernest Johnson checks in. Dontrell Hilliard, who is the backup last week, is out with a concussion. 3rd down and 2. Mayfield looked for the quick pass to the right, shakes free, and then is taken down for a loss by Neville Hewitt. So it wasn't there, and Baker couldn't make the most of it elsewhere.
Yeah, Mayfield is looking. He's looking this way. He thinks he's going to throw the quick screen to Odell Beckham Jr., but he doesn't like to throw out there. And now, broken play at that point. He's got to improvise, and the Jets defense jumps on top of him. They wanted to throw the quick screen to Odell to the right. It wasn't there. And then Baker had to go in improvisation mode and try to find a play.
4th down, and again, the offense stays on the field. A 4th and 4. Let's see if they can get some movement up front this time. And they can't. Double zeros. Went for it in the first half in a similar fashion to see if they could draw them off.
Delay of game. Offense. That penalty is declined. Still 4th down.
You know, some people may not like that, you know, but for me, I think you can go out there, you can try to draw them off sides. They don't jump, no harm, no foul. You take the 5 yards, give your kicker a little bit more room. You punt the football. It's worth a try.
You know, you take a look at Freddie Kitchens there, and we were talking to him yesterday about no panic. We know what happened week 1, all that. You know, but last season, 7 teams that lost in week 1 went on to win at least 10 games. At least 10 games. Barrios with the fair catch. And Browns are hoping they can cruise in for the first win of their season right here. Up 16-3.
Browns defensive coordinator Steve Wilks. Defense doing a good job tonight, holding the Jets to 45 total yards, back calling defensive plays after I thought he was unfairly let go in Arizona after 1 year. It's good to see him land on his feet, call plays again here, and his defense is playing well.
Yeah, and he said, you know, I just missed coaching. I take that head coach job for a year, so I just love being back coaching the guys.
False start. Offense number 55. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
You know, anytime you hold a team to 45 total yards, you got to play aggressive. 8 guys in the box, a guy unblocked, cornerback comes inside. Now you say, you know what? I'm going to play man-to-man on the outside. I think I can take away your receivers, and we're going to go with a 0 blitz. Meaning there's no safety in the hole. We're going to bring everybody. Steve Wilks has done an outstanding job of calling defenses tonight, and his Browns are playing really well.
Jets 10 penalties and 6 on the offense. Falk, and again it's Garrett. Myles Garrett is having himself a night against both Simeon earlier and now Falk. Another sack for Cleveland.
Well, just watch Myles Garrett, number 95. This really isn't a good pass rush move. This is, I've been in the weight room all off season long, and I'm just going to be stronger and more physical than you. That's the name of that move. Myles Garrett more physically gifted than Kelvin Beachum, and he is abusing him tonight.
3 sacks for Garrett, 4 for the team. And a 2nd and 21 from the 2. And Le'Veon with a little bit of breathing room out towards the 8. You think of Myles Garrett, the success he's had. No, you put yourself on the board with that guy, you know good things happening. Since the start of the 2018 season, Garrett with 18 and a half.
And I was talking to his defensive line coach, Todd Schlupool, tonight, and Todd simply said he has not scratched the surface of what he can do. Doing it all off physical ability and not much technique now.
So 5 sacks. Still this second half to play. So he leads the NFL with 5 sacks now. Falk on 3rd and 15 as he gets it over to Ty Montgomery, who lowers his shoulder and then is driven out by Schobert. And the field position and the quarterback situation. I mean, the average starting field position for the Jets is their own 16. They're backed up to a 3rd and long, and now they'll be punting away again. Now, Myles Garrett, you talk about hitting the weight room, puts in a lot of training every which way, including being with Stipe Miocic, the UFC heavyweight. Stipe's here at the game tonight, but he was working out, hitting the pads. I had a great visit with Miocic down on the field earlier. He says, you've never seen anything like this guy athletically. I said, yeah, we see it all the time in the NFL. He goes, no, you've got to see him when he's out there training. And there is the UFC heavyweight, who's a local Cleveland guy.
Yes, yes.
You know? Family comes from Eastern Europe, but he went to high school in Cleveland, and he's a paramedic and a firefighter. He's a local hero there and a great UFC heavyweight. By the way, speaking of heavyweights, I still have bloodstains from Tyson Fury on most of my clothes after the weekend in Vegas. Heck of a fight we had out there Saturday night on ESPN+. Here's a 1st down run from Nick Chubb, as he only gets 2 that time. But you know, I sit there, you watch the UFC and the MMA work for Myles Garrett as if he needs more weaponry to his game. That is Frankie Louvu, who is slow to get up.
Well, you know, the thing about the UFC work, you see a lot of pass rushers and defensive linemen doing it. It's for hand work, hand speed. Because all pass rush is really hand-to-hand combat. So the quicker your hands are, the more elusive they can be, and how you can use them makes you a better pass rusher. So you're going to start to see a lot of guys. We've seen Aaron Donald with knives and things like that. It's all about hand speed.
Garrett now, that hand speed and that athleticism, earning 5 sacks so far here in the midst of the Week 2 second half. Well, he put it out there, though, the big goal for him.
Well, he said it, yeah. Usually you don't do that. Usually you just go about your business and do it, but he put it out there, so big props to him for that.
So he wants to be Defensive Player of the Year. Mayfield in 2nd and 8. Plenty of time to drive the ball to the 40-yard line and get it to Chubb. Nick Chubb from Cedartown, Georgia, but spent a lot of his childhood about 10 miles away in Chubbtown. Look at that shot of him. Chubbtown was founded by his ancestors in the mid-19th century as a free black colony. It survived the Civil War. Historically significant town in Georgia. He's very proud of his family heritage. I chuckle looking at that first picture they put up of Nick Chubb. Did you get a look at that? The 5'11", 227-pound monster with the kitty picture that they put up. As you're going to get the whistle here as the play clock hits zeros.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, It remains third down.
Look at this. I mean, between the vest, which I love, the face is so cute, but the positioning of the left arm and the left hand, only you can get away with it at that age when you're that cute. I mean, that picture just says it all.
Yeah, it looks like I'm gonna smile, but I'm gonna put my hand there. I'm gonna be shy. I just love the young man. I love how he plays. More importantly, I love the fact that he plays the game the right way and he doesn't say a word.
So 3rd and 9 after they mark off the yardage. 4-man rush against Baker Mayfield. Anderson dove at him. Baker, look at this on the run, trying to get it to the sideline to Landry, but it's sliding out of bounds and a little bit to the right of him.
You know, Baker's had a hard time tonight reading coverages and knowing where the ball is going to go in certain coverages. That's why time and time again we've seen him escaping the pocket, patting the football. When a quarterback pats the ball, that's either he's trying to go deep or he doesn't know where to go with the football, and Baker has been fooled quite a few times tonight.
So Gillen now on to punt again. He's had 8 punts so far this season, none returned. 7 fair catches from the rookie punter, and this will be the first to be returned. Of course it is, Braxton Berrios. And that was Hodge with the special teams coverage. Can the Jets find any offense here tonight? 16-3 still. Monday Night Football with the Jets dealing with Sam Darnold, their franchise quarterback, out with mono. Trevor Siemian, the backup quarterback who starts tonight, injured, and now Luke Falk in at quarterback, and they have -12 team passing yards. Let's see if they can change that right here, right now. Robbie Anderson trying to keep his feet in, and he does. 36 yards from Luke Falk.
Yeah, number 21, Denzel Ward, just kind of loses track of Robbie Anderson. The ball is underthrown. Anytime you have an underthrown ball, the advantage goes to the offense. Nice play by Robbie Anderson.
And Bell is stacked up and sent back that time as Thomas, Schobert, and Burnett combining.
Yeah, no, I love the last play. You know, if you're Adam Gase, I understand Sam Darnold has mono, Trevor Siemian is out, you're on your 3rd quarterback, but you're an offensive guru. That's why you got this job. You have to diagram some plays, come up with something. Even if it's a shot deep, just like that last play to Robbie Anderson, come up with something creative like the great offensive minds, Sean Payton, Matt Nagy, Sean McVay. That's what they would do in this situation.
2nd and 9. Here's Bell out of the backfield, and he is forced out of bounds that time. Kirksey was the first to get to him. So that big play downfield. That was the Jets' first down since 6.5 minutes left in the 2nd quarter.
It's an important 3rd down. It wouldn't surprise me if this is 4-down territory. It's been a long time since they've been on this end of the field. So you got 2 downs now, 3rd and 4th down, to pick up a 1st down.
Yeah, they're 0 for on 3rd downs, and it's an average of 3rd and 15. This is a more manageable 3rd and 5. Falk gets it complete for a 1st down, and again he goes to Robbie Anderson. That was 10 yards from Falk on 3rd and 5.
I like this. Is a nice confident throw by Falk. He puts his back foot in the ground. Robbie Anderson comes inside and he just rips it in. Look at his eyes. He sees it. Tight spiral. Robbie Anderson catches it. And now all of a sudden, when we didn't think we had a game, the game is starting to take shape as the Jets are moving the football.
Now this is the deepest that they have gone tonight, to the 20-yard line. Falk to pass again, setting up the screen this time. Ty Montgomery couldn't wiggle his way free as he was squared up against Schobert.
Now we're starting to see the creativity, the pony package. You got Montgomery and Bell in the backfield together. Bell goes out left. You throw the screen to Montgomery. That's the creativity we want to see. You're Adam Gase. I get that you're undermanned, but be creative and put your players in position to succeed.
In short stuff, but Falk, with the exception of that one big shot, has now hit on his last 6. 2nd and 6. There's Bell. And he spins for 1 more yard while he was in the hands of Mack Wilson, the rookie out of Alabama.
Watch Le'Veon Bell. You know, everyone talks about his patient running style. Just watch his feet. Watch him put his foot in the ground. He glides. He cuts outside. Look at that. I mean, that's like a ballerina. It's like doing a cha-cha. He's just dancing, gliding along.
And now you're dancing here in the booth.
We haven't heard from Jamison Crowder in a long time. 19 targets last week, 14 catches. Is he going to come alive now?
Here's 3rd and 2. Look at the time Falk has. Incomplete. Went too far to the back of the end zone for Robbie Anderson.
I'm going for this on 4th down. You haven't been in Browns territory a lot tonight. You're down 13. Field goals are probably not going to win you the game. You got to come up. It's 4th down. Probably going to be man-to-man. Crossing routes or pick routes. Something where your guys are rubbing off each other should be open.
4th down and 2. Jets desperate. What do they come up with? Falk. Can Bell get there for him? No. Going to be about a half yard short. And that is a turnover on downs, as Adam Gase decided to go for it. And they come up just short. Now, there was a moment of hope with the Jets offense, but then the Cleveland defense found a stop. Jets offense fails on 4th down. Booger, you mentioned Jamison Crowder last week compared to this week, and what a difference it makes.
He was heavily involved in the game plan. Tonight, he hasn't been involved as much. Probably should have went to him on the last play.
In stride, OBJ. He comes back to MetLife and does this. How about it? Odell Beckham Jr. 89-yard touchdown.
Jets are going to bring a little pressure inside, and when they bring the pressure there, Odell Beckham Jr., number 13, just splits it right there in the zone. And then when you give him that kind of lane, he is box office.
Career long for OBJ, 89 yards. And remember the things he said about his departure in New York. For him to do this.
No press man-to-man. It's a free release. And when you give one of the most explosive players in the NFL a free release into a zone with no contact, this is what you get. And it's one-on-one between OBJ and the safety. Good night.
For the first 5 seasons of his NFL career, MetLife Stadium was home. And you think Baker Mayfield likes having him as a weapon? Who does that remind you of?
The one guy that I know is Brett Favre. The exuberance, the enthusiasm, the willingness to push the football down the field. Baker Mayfield is the closest thing I've seen to Brett Favre in a long time.
You know, OBJ said he thought Giants general manager Dave Gettleman sent him to Cleveland, quote, to die. We talked to him last night. We had a great visit with him last night. He said, I'm the happiest I've been.
He's
physically,
alive.
emotionally, mentally. He feels so alive. And does he ever, after that career long 89-yarder? Trenton Cannon on the return. He is gobbled up at about the 19-yard line that time by Hodge.
Those are the explosive plays that the Browns yearn for. This gets the sideline going. Baker Mayfield, you see him running down the sideline. Anytime that this offense can create those explosive plays, and, you know, Beckham is just a guy that, I mean, he's explosive. He looks different than the other guys on the field. The speed, he can cut on a dime. Good to see him happy. Good to see him healthy. This is the Cleveland Browns team we expected to see last week.
For a pitch to the outside. Bell made the first man miss, a stiff arm, and then shouldered out of bounds. Now, you remember there was a little back and forth this week with Odell Beckham and Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator of the Jets, as Beckham made the claim that Williams, he coaches in a certain way. He said, listen, he coaches guys to hurt me. And a couple of years ago in preseason game, there was a low tackle, and Beckham Jr. says that it affected me. I was injured, and later that year he has the broken bone. Greg Williams responded, Odell who? That's who, right there. The guy who just went for 89 yards. A tackle for loss this time, as it was Schobert knifing in.
As it pertains to Greg Williams, a lot of people are going to continue to perceive him a certain way because of one word, I think. And that's, the word bounty. Anytime we hear the word bounty, we understand what it means in the National Football League with some of the things that we've seen in the past. Odell Beckham says that Greg instructed some of the players to put some dirty hits on him. Greg Williams is an aggressive defensive coordinator. That's how he coaches. He coaches with an attitude, and he continues to coach that way, and he said he's not going to change.
They're down in 2. As Falk sprints right, throws it incomplete. By the way, Williams said when Odell came out with the claim that, hey, he's coaching to hurt players, hurt me, he said, are you kidding me? He goes, that was a low legal tackle that happened in that preseason game. He says, I showed it to my players here with the Jets, and they even said, if he didn't like that, wait till he sees what happens on Monday night, because we're going to play some real football. And I think Odell had a fire under him a little bit coming into this place tonight, didn't he?
Well, it's got to be special anytime you come back home. The Giants drafted Odell here. He gets an opportunity to come back and play the Jets in this same building. You know he wants to put on a show. He is as box office as it gets in the National Football League. Good to see him healthy and happy again, making plays.
Well, that was a memorable one, wasn't it? Another look at the 89-yarder, and we'll show you Greg Williams' reaction to it as well.
I mean, he realizes at that point, now it's a foot race. Once OBJ gets in the secondary, now it's a chase game. And look at Greg Williams. He's upset because not only did he give up a touchdown, but he gave it to OBJ.
143 yards on the night on 4 receptions. Last week there was so much talk about, the productivity and trying to get him in a rhythm and downfield and put him on the go with the ball in his hands. And he had 15 yards after the catch on 7 receptions. He just had 77 yards after the catch on that one.
But it's just important for them, the entire offense, to let the game come to them the way they have tonight.
Now Baker, he wants more downfield. That time he was looking for Taylor. The coverage came from Brian Poole.
As you look at this Browns offense, there's a lot to be excited about. Young quarterback, explosive weapons, but I think the entire show is going to be built around the offensive line. We haven't talked much about the line tonight, and that's a good thing because they played bad against Tennessee. They played better tonight. If the offensive line can continue this improvement, then we can start to see some of the expectations met that we thought about the Browns in the offseason.
There's Chubb probing the left side as he was taken down that time from Jamal Adams. Well, that touchdown pass, a career long for OBJ, and then for Baker Mayfield, what it does for him is it puts him in rare company as he now has the 3rd most pass yards through a player's first 16 games in NFL history. As you see, Luck and Mahomes, so 16 games for Mayfield. Now, remember, he didn't start the first couple weeks last year. Came in week 3 against these Jets and rallied them to a comeback win when they were down 14. So now, through what is a full season of 16 games, that is where he is with Mahomes and Luck. 3rd and 12 as they go with the screen. And Johnson will go for 10 yards that time.
Baker's thrown for a lot of yards, but I bet a lot of people don't know this. Since he started his first game, he's tied for the NFL lead in interceptions. He throws the ball to the other team a lot. That's where he has to become a little bit more consistent in order for him and the Browns team to take the next step.
Berrios calling for the fair catch, and he does so at the 12. One of the fall's most anticipated new series has arrived. Critics are calling ABC's Emergence a jaw-dropping thrill ride that will leave you breathless. Emergence premieres Tuesday, September 24th at 10 Eastern on ABC. Well, if you're sitting there saying to yourself, why is number 8 playing quarterback for the Jets? Luke Falk had to come in when Trevor Siemian left with an apparent leg injury, and he was in there starting for Sam Darnold, the franchise quarterback, who is out with mono. And here's Falk on first down with time, and he will check down to Bell. Makes the first man miss, little stutter step, and goes ahead, then hurdles and stays in. I had a little bit of everything in one play from Le'Veon Bell.
That's why you throw the football to your do-it-all back. He can make you miss. You don't always have to push the ball down the field. Put the ball in Bell's hands. Look at that. Man, I haven't made a hurdle like that since I was about 17. Look at Le'Veon doing it right now. Hard to believe he's 225 pounds. Hard to believe.
Such balance, athleticism, final seconds here of the third quarter with a 23-3 lead for Cleveland. Highlighted with Odell Beckham Jr. going for 89 yards. The touchdown from Baker Mayfield. Fourth quarter when we return to Monday Night Football. 23-3. Joe Booger and Lisa back here at MetLife. You know, Joe Namath brought us on the air tonight. Maybe that wasn't good luck for Gang Green. He never won a Monday Night Football game. He was 0-6 with the Jets, 0-1 with the Rams. Falk able to get this complete to Robbie Anderson again. That's a pretty good target he has found, isn't it? And he's building a little bit of confidence as Luke Falk.
Oh, I love it. I mean, a little play action fake. You put in Le'Veon Bell's belly, you pull it out. Robbie Anderson running a little square in there against Denzel Ward. Nice timing, good throw. That's what you want to see. If Sam Darnold is going to be out a few more weeks, and we don't know the severity of the injury to Trevor Siemian, this is the guy you have to go with, so you got to get him some confidence now.
Show A-gap pressure, and it comes straight up the middle. Falk able to get away from it, and once again he was looking for Anderson. It goes incomplete. So some significant NFL news today. You know about the quarterbacks earlier, and then this tonight as the Dolphins trade Minkah Fitzpatrick, the ace defensive back, to the Steelers for a 2020 first-round pick.
Makes a ton of sense. The Steelers secondary, they've been having issues for a couple of years, and they gave up 300 yards to Russell Wilson yesterday. Minkah Fitzpatrick is a do-it-all safety. He can run, he can cover. I think it's a good fit.
Bell wrapped up. Will the last notable player in Miami please turn out the lights on the way out? It is unbelievable what is going on in South Florida.
Well, you know who I feel bad for? Brian Flores. Because the head coach and the players are not going to tank. But it almost seems like from a front office standpoint, when you start to take away all the good players, Kenny Stills, Laramie Tunsil, Minkah Fitzpatrick, as players, what are we to think when you get rid of all the players? And I think that's something they're going to have to work on if you're Brian Flores. Keep your team invested in the rest of the season. You still got 14 more games to go.
Third down and 11 as Myles Garrett absolutely crushed Luke Falk, and now reversing course is Bell and weaving his way. I mean, the effort from Le'Veon Bell is something, but Myles Garrett has been in the backfield all night long.
Yeah, but, I mean, Garrett comes in, but when you get the ball in Le'Veon Bell's hands, just watch him. He cuts across the field. Yeah, it's 23-3, but you think Le'Veon Bell has given up. And look at Myles Garrett again. When you don't block someone and they get a free run at your quarterback, that's what's going to happen. That's the third or fourth time tonight that the Jets offense has allowed Garrett or Vernon to have a free run at the quarterback.
Myles got to bring that helmet down. A little helmet to helmet.
Fourth down and 3. And a flag is down.
Judging by Garrett's helmet being off, it's probably going to be against Beachum.
Illegal use of hands in the face. Offense number 68. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a turnover and downs. First down, Browns.
So that'll close the door on that. 12:50 remaining here. Browns in complete control. ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Verizon. Right now, Verizon is building the most powerful 5G experience for America. And in 13 NFL stadiums and counting, even here at MetLife Stadium. So NFL fans can get the streaming and downloading speeds that they deserve. 5G, built right from the network more people rely on. Baker has 265 and a touchdown tonight with a spectacular quick strike to Odell Beckham Jr. that went for 89 yards. Look at OBJ's return to this stadium. 4 receptions, 143 and a touchdown. Nick Chubb able to get through that and then go through May for a few more yards. Just to wrap up the Miami trade with the Steelers, Minkah Fitzpatrick book. Miami now 3 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks in 2020. So they're trying to build up that draft equity stockpile.
This same team here, the Cleveland Browns, had a ton of picks also. Didn't serve them well.
Yeah, you got to hit on them.
You got to have good players.
Yeah, you got to hit on those picks. Cleveland went through that phase. No gain there that time.
You know, in moments like this, I get the scores out of hand, but now is where you can start to establish your offensive line being physical. They got a kind of abused last week against Tennessee. They played pretty well tonight. The big fellas up front, they want to come off the ball and hit somebody. Offensive linemen love this time of the game. It's time to run the football. Let's come off. Let's be physical.
And OBJ with a spin for a first down. As he was met by Darryl Roberts, add 12 more yards to Beckham Jr.'s tally tonight.
You know, OBJ talked about not getting much one-on-one coverage against Darryl Roberts. You know, anytime you're playing man coverage, you should either be up, physical, press to press, man-to-man, or you back up off. Roberts is kind of in no man's land at 7 yards. And, you know, Roberts is being forced to play OBJ because number 22, Tremaine Johnson, hasn't played a lot tonight. He didn't play well last week, kind of being benched this week. Story to follow here in New York.
His second season with the Jets. They paid a lot of money for him to come over from the Rams. Flag is down as Mayfield goes underneath. He's able to go to Pharaoh Brown. Remember, David Njoku, their big target tight end, is out.
Shift. Offense. 2 men moving at the same time. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
$18 penalties last week. That's penalty number 7 this week. Young team, very talented. They have to clean the penalties up, especially the selfish penalties, the personal fouls like the ones that Myles Garrett got.
Yeah, we're doing 26. 46.
There's Chubb. Was trying to get Chris Hubbard out in front. And you think about how good Nick Chubb is, and then later this season they'll have Kareem Hunt come into the fold after he serves the suspension. 8-game suspension for the former Chiefs star. Released by the Chiefs with the legal issues with the video that surfaced that showed him with the assault of a woman in February 2018, and then the Browns feel like they did their due diligence on everything, so they were the ones to sign him, and he is suspended for the first 8 games. Mayfield with a lot of time, and it's intercepted. That's Darryl Roberts getting the ball out of the air. He had a rough go of it last week against Buffalo. He's beaten a couple times. Here he comes up with the pick. Mentioned the fact not long ago that Baker Mayfield, yeah, you know what he gives you, and he gives you that juice, likes to go downfield, but with it comes some turnovers. 18th interception in his career moments ago.
He's a gunslinger, man. I mean, he's going to try to get the big chunk plays down the field.
Screen pass now to Bell. Let's go back to that pickoff book.
You know, he reminds me so much of Brett Favre. He's going to make the spectacular plays. He's going to force the football. But sometimes you have to take a little profit. You'll never go broke taking a profit. He's got Nick Chubb wide open for a nice gain there. He tries to force it over the linebacker, and the ball gets picked.
Falk is going to check down underneath that time. That is Jamison Crowder.
That's going to come with maturity. Baker still has not played a full 16 games.
Right.
So as he continues to get more experience, I think he'll learn what the great ones do. Tom Brady, Drew Brees, those guys just throw it to their backs. And they allow their backs to make a lot of yards. And then when you get one-on-one coverage down the field, then you can hit the big play.
Third and 5. As Falk is able to connect, and Crowder couldn't keep his balance but got himself open for a Jets first down. A 30-yard reception, Jamison Crowder.
Well, welcome Jamison Crowder to the football game. He had 14 catches last week. Now he's starting to get involved. But it's just good to see Luke Falk drop back and be patient. Pat the ball, read the coverage, and find Jamison Crowder. This is something to build on. When Coach Gay shows him the film next week, he can show him plays like that to get this young quarterback some confidence.
You mean next week when the assignment is to go to New England?
I didn't say it was going to be easy. I just said next week.
No gain there from Le'Veon Bell. You know, listen, the big headline obviously for the Jets this season right now is Sam Darnold out indefinitely with mononucleosis, and then the schedule. He had this game, which obviously wasn't going to be an easy task at all, as you're finding out on the scoreboard, and then you lose Trevor Siemian with an apparent leg injury, and now your number 3 quarterback Luke Falk may have to take that road. That's a tough path ahead. Bookended with the Super Bowl champions. Quickly to Robbie Anderson as a flag is down at the 35.
Yeah. Offside, defense number 95, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Myles Garrett, you know, if you go back to 2018 and you look at Myles Garrett, he was the most penalized defensive lineman, defensive player. He had 10 offsides or neutral zone infractions. That's the most in the NFL. So it's kind of, you know, he gives you the big play, then he goes offsides. He's got to become more consistent. Terrific player, don't like the penalties. That's his 3rd penalty tonight. 2 personal fouls and an offsides.
There's Bell out of the backfield. Made the first man miss and then turns it on, and the ball comes out, and it's a turnover. That was T.J. Carey who was able to recover it. It's just that kind of night for the Jets, isn't it? Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, recognizing those who strive to rise above the rest. Goodyear, more driven. The Jets were a little more driven, and then all of a sudden, Bell coughed it up. Recovery by Cleveland, and back to business is OBJ. And back to business is the great national crisis every Monday of NFL officiating, seemingly, as everybody is in an uproar over this out in L.A. when the Saints' Cam Jordan picked up and returned for a touchdown, what appeared to be a Saints touchdown. Instead, it was ruled incomplete, and it was what? Sean Payton happens again, and John Perry, 2-time Super Bowl referees, with us. What's the takeaway here?
Tough day yesterday. You know, we addressed that play yesterday. Not much more you can say about it. It's indefensible. we have a pass fumble situation, and we have replay in our back pocket to come back and make a correction. Always best to go fumble.
Fudukasi with the tackle for loss. I mean, seemingly now it's to the point where between the reviewable PI and what's happening with the Saints, everybody's up in arms. The word among the brethren?
It's a tough start. You know, we got the week. Let's get better. Week 3, we've got to make the calls correct and try to eliminate the big ticket items that we saw yesterday as errors.
Not much controversy to deal with here tonight, as the Jets have offered up little with their offense in the situation with the quarterbacks. Baker setting up the screen here on 3rd and 9. Chubb getting free and takes a big wallop from Jamal Adams, but not before moving the chains.
You know, the thing that concerns me, if you guys have a situation in place to do this, and then it doesn't get done, how does that happen?
And that's the thing, the tough thing with yesterday's play. We are taught as referees in that specific situation with quarterback pass fumble, when it's tight or when you're in doubt, let it play out. You've got a backstop with instant replay to come back, regardless how long the run is, make it an incomplete pass, put time back on the clock. So it's a tough mistake.
Maybe you could head down to the Crescent City, do some group therapy down there. It'd be useful down there, Perry.
I feel bad for Cam Jordan. The big fella ran a long ways, and he got nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
By the way, he had one in the holster in the post-game press conference when he busted out that line he used. We heard that in our production meeting last week. So regardless of that, obviously the Rams were excellent yesterday against the Saints. And then you get the news as Drew Brees going to be out for about 6 weeks with pending thumb surgery, and then the news on Roethlisberger elsewhere in the league today that he'll miss the remainder of the season with elbow surgery. And think about what's going on with the Browns. You mentioned Pittsburgh. We mentioned Pittsburgh without Roethlisberger. We mentioned the Rams. Well, that is who the Browns get next week. In fact, their next 5 opponents are all now 2-0.
It's going to be a very good litmus test for the Browns to go against the Rams. It's going to be at home. It's going to be going crazy. Can they play patient, penalty-free football? That'll be a key to that game.
There's Johnson getting some work. Flag reins in from the far side. Freddie Kitchens, first-year head coach for the Browns.
Offside. Defense number 33. 5-yard penalty. It remains 2nd down.
Now people say, where did Freddie Kitchens come from? He's been around the NFL. He's an old SEC guy that you're familiar with, Boog.
Absolutely. Love Freddie Kitchens. Played against him back when I was in college. And he talked about tonight was going to be a big night because he did not know how his team was going to respond. A lot of expectations. They didn't play well last week. He said, I'm going to know when I get back on the plane on Monday night who's with me and who's against me. And I think he understands tonight a lot of guys play well. A lot of guys are going to be with him.
A little anxious was Jamal Adams. So he was a quarterback at Alabama. And, of course, you were a great all-SEC defensive lineman. You played against him. Not only did you play against him, you got after him a little bit, Boog. This is you taking down Freddie Kitchens. And it's a good thing John Perry wasn't around back then officiating the SEC, because he may have got you with that body weight on the quarterback there. You were a little bigger back then.
Man, where did y'all get that footage from?
You guys shut out Bama that day, 27-0. You know, you look at Freddie now, hey, I get it, man. But, hey, this guy could throw it now.
Oh, without
He could put it through a brick wall. He was a great baseball pitcher as well. And but he said, you know, seeing guys like you coming after me, that's why I stopped playing. Went into coaching real quick.
Freddie was a good player, and I think right now he's trying to grow into being a really good football coach. You know, he took Baker Mayfield and he groomed him last year, and the light went off for Baker. And Freddie got the job. Greg Williams wanted it, but Freddie got it. And now Freddie's chore is really simple. How do you take a young football team and mold them and teach them how to win? We all know that Cleveland has a lot of talent, but talent doesn't allow you to win. You can go have the greatest ingredients in the world. Doesn't make a great meal. You got to know how to put it together. And that's Freddie's job here in Cleveland. The little things. That's what he's talked about. How do I teach a young team to do the little things?
Second and 10, and driving the ball to Ratley there, and Ratley gets free. So Mayfield's totals will take a tick north. And now you think of how the Browns size up things in the AFC North with knowing what the Bengals are, what the Steelers might be without Ben Roethlisberger. And there are the Ravens with Lamar Jackson playing some great ball.
Well, I think right now you have to put the Ravens up top. Defensively, Lamar Jackson has improved drastically from when we saw him against the Chargers until now. He's making tremendous throws down the field. And, oh, by the way, he can always take off with his legs. And so I handicap that division right now, especially with what happened with Big Ben. I think the Ravens would be at the top right now, and the Browns have to prove that they can handle that defense and that explosive offense. And Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, they have issues they have to take care of.
Nate Hairston is down for the Jets. I want to ask you about the Steelers and the situation there. Mason Rudolph, we know what he was at Oklahoma State.
Right.
He was a guy that could put the ball downfield, and they drafted him thinking perhaps the future once Ben is done. Well, the future's right now. Ben's out for the year, and then today they make the move and they pick up Minkah Fitzpatrick, outstanding, versatile defensive back from Miami for a first-round pick. Best case scenario now with the Steelers.
Well, I think they're going to have to play control football. Remember how Seattle played last year?
Yes.
They took the ball out of Wilson's hands, and they ran the football and played to their defense. I think the trade of Minkah Fitzpatrick tells us how Pittsburgh is thinking. We're going to try to bolster our defense a little bit, allow Rudolph to settle in. Connor's got to get healthy. And where's Juju Smith-Schuster been?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to get going. So I think we understand how Pittsburgh is going to try to play. Mike Tomlin is a good football coach. He's never had a losing season. I trust Mike Tomlin. I think he'll do the right thing. They will play well and play to the finish line in Pittsburgh.
Be interested to see how Mason Rudolph responds. And, you know, I love some of the reports we got out of Pittsburgh today as to how Big Ben now wants to play a role almost as an assistant coach, as a mentor to the young quarterback. And
it's amazing. He didn't want to be a mentor when Rudolph first got there.
no, but now that he's injured, he wants to be a mentor. That's great. Jarvis Landry there.
Oh.
Now, there were different reports initially when OTAs and minicamp was going on that first year. But there is so much to talk about in the NFL right now with the trade of Minkah, the news with the two quarterbacks, and Odell Beckham Jr. and what he did tonight with his return here. Of course, he's reunited with his best buddy, Jarvis Landry. Landry was so emotional when he got the news that OBJ was coming. They had the great years at LSU together. And, you know, interestingly, Odell had a strong relationship with Baker as well prior to. They would be training out in L.A., really liked the guy. And he said if ever there was the chance. And here they are, the three of them together. Of course, best friends, Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry, and they have reunited with the Browns. The tandem went for over 2,300 combined receiving yards during their junior season alone at LSU. And, of course, you know, they both have the knack for the great one-handed catches. We saw one earlier tonight. We've seen a couple of the best of all time. One happened right here at this stadium. And they've combined for 7 Pro Bowls already. A little fun last year at the Skills Challenge when we were down there with the guys. And they're having a blast tonight, that's for sure. 23-3 on a night where OBJ has 161 yards in that spectacular 89-yard touchdown. 2-minute warning here as the Browns have been rolling over the Jets. Also coming up, Ram Trucks post-game report on SportsCenter. Reaction from Ryan Clark as he discusses Baker Mayfield's night.
I mean, if you're Baker right now, it's 23-3. Hand the football off. Let's move on. No need to take any more hits.
Baker, a little bit of traffic. Dangerous position to be in there as he's taken down through the echo of the whistle.
I don't blame Baker, though. This is Freddie Kitchens. You're calling the plays. The game is in hand. You have the Rams next week. Get your star quarterback. Either let him hand it off or get him out of the game. There's no need for Baker Mayfield to be taking a hit when you're up 20 under 2 minutes. That's inexcusable.
Baker at 325 yards on the night. Did have that one interception and then, of course, had the spectacular play, the hookup with Odell Beckham Jr.
Delay of game, offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
And think about how the Jets are going to manage this situation now. As of course we'll be getting an update soon enough on Trevor Siemian, knowing Sam Darnold is out with mono, sitting there with Luke Falk. I mean, what's the messaging when you get back into the building?
Well, we have to play with the guys that we have, and we have to figure out a game plan that can take advantage of the guys that are playing their talent. You have Le'Veon Bell, you have Jamison Crowder, you have Demaryius Thomas, who we haven't even mentioned tonight. You have to use the weapons that you have. You can't worry about the guys that you don't.
You know, you consider the Jets roster. I know there was a lot of sizzle to the offseason when you pick up Le'Veon Bell and you think about the development of Sam Darnold, but here's the reality of it. You got 52% of the players are new to the team. That's the third highest rate in the NFL. And they only drafted 15 of their players. That's the fewest in the league. So the reality is, yes, there was an uptick. Yes, there was a lot to look forward to, but thin in spots. Then you catch injuries the way things have gone, obviously, at the quarterback position, and you're in a bit of a transition.
And let's not forget, Mike Maccagnan is fired. In comes Joe Douglas. You're trying to reshape the roster a little bit. Adam Gase is the guy who's in charge, though. He's got to get, especially the offense, he's got to get the offense to going and get everybody together.
Yeah, Joe Douglas, by the way, who was hired in June when they parted ways with Dave Maccagnan, the new general manager. This is a guy that is very highly thought of. He was under Howie Roseman in Philadelphia. He was with Ozzie Newsome in Baltimore, but they feel that they have a very bright future with the leadership of this organization now as he's in place, as Falk is finding a little bit of a rhythm with Robbie Anderson here in this second half.
Yeah, it's something to build on as you go forward. Robbie Anderson, now you get Jamison Crowder going. You can start to see how they can move the ball, but it's going to be on Adam Gase. If you're going to be an offensive savant, you got to create some plays and design an offense to use the guys that you have.
That is batted and then falls, leaving 16 seconds left. Chris Smith got a piece of that. Baker Mayfield talked about staying focused, not panicking after everything that went wrong week one. They did that tonight. LBJ was clearly inspired to come back here to this stadium and put on a show. He did that tonight. 6 catches for 161 yards. As Josh Bellamy is able to get out of bounds with 11 seconds left, and Luke Falk getting himself some experience. Second season out of Washington State. This guy was a walk-on for Mike Leach. He went on to be one of the most prolific passers that the West Coast has ever seen. Speaking of Mike Leach and Washington State, how about Gardner Minshew with the Jags, another Washington State quarterback coming off the bench?
Did you see his outfit getting off the plane?
Oh, hey, we opened up the night with talking about Joe Namath's swag. Minshew's not bashful, is he?
Oh.
There's Montgomery here. And a flag is down with 2 seconds remaining.
Speaking of Minshew, I've never seen someone unbutton their shirt down to the bottom button like Minshew did.
Oh, no, you were Schenectady, New York, where I grew up back in the 70s. Trust me, you saw things.
Joe, use a helmet here at the end of the ball game. Lower and lead with the helmet.
Perry, I like how you analyze officiating right down to double zeros on the clock. You keep it coming, John Perry.
Personal foul, lowering the head to initiate contact. Defense number 51. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It's Mack Wilson, 5th-round pick out of Bama. I'll put that thing down. We'll have one last time to line it up with Luke Falk. And the Browns will take a moment to celebrate their first win on Monday Night Football since 2008. Baker's Monday Night Football debut. He said, I loved Monday nights in the fall because Mom and Dad would let me stay up late. It was the one night that he could stay up late. Well, didn't need to stay up late working hard tonight. They were in control throughout. The Jets have lost 7 straight home games. 7 straight home losses for the Jets. That is the longest active streak in the NFL. Baker goes for 325. Hooked up for a career-long reception for Odell Beckham Jr. of 89 yards. as OBJ comes back to this spot and has 6 catches for 161. Next Monday night, we got Bears and Redskins. As it's time to send it to the Ram Trucks post-game report on SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt. For Lisa and Booger, I'm Joe Tessitore saying good night. Enjoy the rest of your evening with SVP.